Hey, good morning, everybody. Mark again here, WeatherMan Plus. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Now, I'm going to give you an update not only on severe weather that we have today and what is still coming, as far as what's going on with the tropics as well. Because the Euro and the GFS is seeing two different things. The Euro is still bringing this into the Gulf of Mexico. And the GFS is showing that it's still going to be a very strong hurricane from Mexico, but it's going to get hit by this cold front. It's showing that after this storm goes to the northeast this weekend, it's going counterclockwise. It's going to pull this cold front even further down to the south and just keep pressure on this system as it tries to go towards the Gulf, and it keeps it to the east. Now, this will be a possible tropical depression, strong tropical storm over the Bahamas as it passes by into the east. So I'm going to show you everything I have for you. Remember, all the links are in the description to help save you time. Please help share this video, guys. Hit the like button because Texas is just going through so much. Not only with the big deal that happened at the school yesterday, but a lot of them are also without power today. Thank you so much for all your help. If you've never been here before, make sure you subscribe. I am all year long. And as of this morning, it has improved a little bit. It was at over 160,000. Now it's down to 157,000 without power. And I know that this has already happened once before already within a week, but I have high confidence that Texas will fix this very quickly, guys. And remember, if you have a laptop, if your phone is low on power, plug it into your laptop and you can charge your phone from your laptop. And not only the power outages, they're also dealing with this. As you all may have heard, the big shooting over at a Texas elementary school. And so far as confirmed, we lost 21 people, and one of them including a teacher. The rest of them are just children, everybody. So please pray for these families that are going through this loss. There's nothing worse than losing your children. God bless you all. Now, we did have a PDS yesterday, a particularly dangerous situation, but thank God it all stayed funneled. It stayed mostly severe storms, which was bad enough, but we did not have no tornadoes yesterday. Yay, thank God. But I will put this link in the description as well. This is all your reports, and it don't stay there long. So if you check this later this afternoon, it might be updated with the severe weather we have for today. But if you go click on all these light blue ones, you can see information as why the power is out. Like small limbs are snapped, 52 miles per hour gust winds. There is so many, a roof blown off. There are so many tragic things that happened over there. Palm trees blown down. This is why y'all power is out. And it wasn't just for Texas. Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, everybody had problem with trees coming down and messing with their power and messing with everything. Look, trees down everywhere yesterday. Now, your severe weather for today, you will have thunderstorms and all of this green as the surface low goes up to the upper Midwest. You do have a chance for tornadoes. Now, when I looked at the information, nothing screams out tornado outbreak on this, but there is a chance for a spin up or two. You do have a big 2% area, and you have a chance for winds and hail as well. Not as major as yesterday, but your main cities that's at risk for this tornado threat for today, 2%. Chicago, Illinois, Houston, Texas, Indianapolis, Indiana, Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana. But you can see when you look at your helicity tracks, your wind direction change with height, your chances for tornadoes today. Nothing screams out from HRRR that something is going to be a severe cell that you need to worry about tornadoes. You do have a lot of storm cells passing through, but nothing shows that it's going to be super severe. And this is going all the way to 10 o'clock tonight. So you do have storms passing through for Louisiana, Mississippi, southern Alabama, and some for Illinois as well, and a little bit for Tennessee. But none of them screams out a possible tornado. These are just going to be some strong storms passing through. Now, as you go to the 48 hours, it is always different information. There is chances for some cells for northern Mississippi going into western Tennessee. And that is about the strongest we see, is a couple for Mississippi. The rest of them show that it's going to be weak all the way to Thursday, all the way till Friday when this goes off into the northeast. And you can see where these cells are going to be hitting from this storm. None of them scream out super strong, but there's still a chance for a spin up or two. Low chance. Because when you look at your 850 millibar height to see how bad the winds are going to be to get some rotation, you can see none of this is super dark. None of this is in the whites. This is all just red, which shows a lot of winds is going to be there, not significant winds as well. But as you get into Thursday evening, it looks like your best chance maybe for a spin up or two all the way from northern Georgia, eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, from 7 p.m. all the way to midnight, going into a little bit of western West Virginia. That's about it. And that's not even super strong. That's just getting into the brown a little bit. So that's your best chances for some kind of tornadoes to spin up. The rest of this just looks mild. It's bringing some winds with it, but it's not showing that it's going to be any kind of tornado outbreak that you need to worry about as this system pushes further to the east. As well as the wind gusts. When you look at the Euro, it don't show that it has much of wind gusts to this. It's going to be in the 30s and maybe pockets of 40 miles per hour wind gusts and a little bit for the mid-Atlantic. But the GFS shows that it's going to mild down as it goes to the East Coast, and the mid-Atlantic isn't going to have those 40s, but it confirms that you will have the 40s for today as this goes up towards Ohio Valley. Even HRRR confirms that you will get up into the 40 miles per hour wind gusts, mostly for southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, and western Kentucky, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, as you go through today. Even pockets of it for New Orleans, a little bit for the city, but it's not showing anything special after that. Even the 48-hour of the HRRR confirms that it could get up to northern Georgia and northern Alabama and go across Tennessee a little more with up to 40 miles per hour wind gusts as you go through Thursday. But for Friday, it does confirm that it weakens back down for the mid-Atlantic. And you will have some thunderstorms. This is your lightning strikes, and you can see all the thunderstorms coming with it, but you don't see a lot of big pockets. You get some pockets of some white for Louisiana, where you get chances for maybe some hail coming out of it, but the rest of it just shows regular thunderstorms. There's going to be some nice thunderstorms. There will be some dark clouds coming through, but none of it shows big pockets of white to where you need to worry about large hail coming out of this. It just will be some nasty storms passing through all the way till Friday. And to keep the best information, I'm still going to just do one day at a time on severe weather. But for tomorrow, you do have a 2% tornado chance as well, all the way from southern Alabama all the way up towards Ohio. You have a little bit of wind and a little bit of hail. But I will put this link in the description so you can go see the cities as this updates to see if you're at risk. I have it for all week. Then as you go through Friday, this will push towards the east, and you have a severe weather risk as well, up to a 15% chance all the way from South Carolina all the way towards Pennsylvania and a little bit of New Jersey. So I will leave this link in the description so you can go see the cities at risk. This will update every day. And it's not going to stop there. Saturday, we have a 15% risk, and Sunday, we have another 15% risk. So the severe weather will go all the way till this weekend. And as you look at your precipitation, your rainfall totals from National Weather Service, you see as you go through today, this is your rainfall amounts that's expected all the way from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. As you go through tomorrow, this is going to spread out even heavier, mostly for the south, all the way to 7 p.m. Then it starts stretching all the way towards Alabama, and northern Georgia gets into it. And as you go through Friday, it's going to add up to even more. So there is a lot of rainfall coming. It's going to be lighter as you go up in the country, mostly for the Tennessee, Kentucky Valley, a little bit lighter for the Ohio Valley. The south and the southeast is going to be the most amounts. And you can see as you go all the way till Friday, it does weaken down with the rainfall totals. So there is going to be a lot of rainfall still coming out of this. Just be aware for flash flooding, because now your flash flooding has updated even more. For today, you do have the marginal in all this green, a slight risk in all this yellow, but instead of just western Tennessee, now you have some of Louisiana and you have some of southern Mississippi and southern Alabama. That's in the moderate section where you could be getting 3 inches plus of rainfall. This will carry more for tomorrow as well. For Thursday, you have the marginal in the green, slight risk in the yellow section for southern Mississippi, southern Alabama to get at least 3 inches of rainfall. So just be aware that this is going to last all the way until Friday when it moves offshore. Friday, you have another marginal. Now, you update on your tropics within the next 5 days. You still have nothing, of course, according to the Atlantic side from National Hurricane Center. This is all going to start popping off from the 30th to 31st, going into the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Euro still showing it going into the Gulf. GFS is showing it's going to get hit with that cold front and knock it to the east. Either way, there should be an outlook coming soon for the Gulf of Mexico and the Western Caribbean. And for the Pacific, the first disturbance is at 20%. It's still the same for 48 hours and 5 days. Disturbance 2 is still at 30% in 48 hours, and it's moved up from 70 to 80% in the next 5 days. And this is the one that's showing that's going to go into the Gulf, guys. So as we look at our potential velocity anomaly from GFS, you can see right here towards the end of the month, it just does form up right here towards Mexico from the Pacific. But then the energy swings over to the east, and this will go into our Gulf, and it strengthens up all the way from the end of the month all the way towards the 2nd and the 3rd. Then it shows another one, same area, building up somewhere around the 4th through the 8th, and a little bit to the east as well. So the GFS is showing this will swing into the Gulf, strengthen up, go towards the Caribbean, and then swing out into the east, the Atlantic so far. Now, as we all know, the 0Z and 12Z is the best and most accurate data you can get from these weather balloons. I did check the 6Z as well, and I'll show you, and it's still showing the same data. And the Euro confirms this as well. As you get this system, this potential hurricane going into Mexico, that it will move to the east, and as you go through June 2nd, that it will strengthen up. And then as you go through June 7th, it starts moving to the east and strengthens up. So it's a little concerning because the Euro shows this going into the Gulf, where it don't show that cold front coming down. GFS shows that it does come down and swings out. But the Arctic oscillation showing the cold front, according to the Euro, is showing that it's starting to update and agree with the GFS. As it comes down towards the end of the month, instead of dipping on the 1st and going back up, it's confirming that it will linger around a little bit longer. So this could show that this system does pull this cold air back down to the south, and that's what keeps it out of coming into our country and out of the Gulf. And you can even see with the North Atlantic oscillation that it is going into a trough as we go to the end of the month through the beginning of June. It is going to stay into a deep trough. Now, this isn't going to bring super cold temperatures, but while everybody else is in 80s and 90s, y'all will be in the 70s. So it will be a little bit of a difference. And the GFS is showing the same thing. It is still going down with this cold air on the Arctic oscillation, and it's going to stay down and go a little bit further as you go through the 3rd and 4th. That's because this cyclone that's going off into the northeast is going to swirl around, and it's going to pull this cold air further down because it's going counterclockwise. And that's where it's pulling it down and blocking the Gulf before it goes back on a warm-up. As well as the North Atlantic oscillation, we are going into a trough at the end of the month, bringing that little cold front. Not really of a big deal. This is mostly going to be for the western side of the U.S., a little bit of the upper Midwest. Then as it swings towards the east side of the country, the cold front is going to bring a more of a trough as the system brings it further down to the south before we go back up on a ridge. And you can see the update with the Euro with the MJO. As the cold air swings around to the western side of the U.S., around this 7 right here, that it will be colder on the western side of the U.S., but the 8 is our east coast. So as we go to the beginning of the month, it don't swing too deep into the south. It will swing to the upper Midwest and stay around the upper Midwest and the northeast. It turns sharply towards the northeast instead of lingering around to the east coast by the mid-Atlantic. So if the Euro is correct, this will not block this thing in the Gulf. If the GFS is correct, it will block it and push it east. But you can see this as you look at your temperatures. All the end of the month, all this cold air will stay on the western side of the U.S. You will warm right back. You will be cold again at nighttime all the way to the end of the month. Then it's going to start moving as you get this big warm up again for Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, getting back into the hundreds. By the 28th, this cold air will start moving in a little more, and the higher elevations will start being the freezing temperatures by the 29th, and it will warm right back up, and it's still showing hundreds now going all the way up towards Nebraska. As you go into the 30th, this cold air will stretch down a little bit further into the country, where it's going more down California now, and it will warm right back up with chances for hundreds, high 90s, going all the way up towards Kansas, Nebraska again. Still got this cold front stretching all the way down to the 31st. As you go into the 1st, it moves up to the upper Midwest. It don't stretch too far into the south. Now, it will bring colder temperatures, won't be in those 90s, but it will warm right back up throughout the day, where you're not going to be in the hundreds. Instead, it's going to be 90s, then pockets of 70, where everybody else is in 80s. And it will be like that for the whole beginning of June. More cold air coming in for June 3rd, and it just stays up to the upper Midwest while you got this heat coming right back. And you can see this for the east as well. As you get this cold dip coming down, you have some cool mornings. heat comes right back as you got this cold dip coming down all the way for Friday with this system. It is bringing cooler temperatures as well, but as it moves towards the East Coast, it starts leaving with this cold air. You see again for Saturday, you're waking up in some more cooler temperatures. But as you go towards the weekend and it goes off into the east, and when you get into Monday, that's when it really kicks in with your temperatures. You're starting to get into the high 80s and 90s across the whole eastern side of the U.S. And as you go towards Tuesday, when you get a chance for this next cold front to come through for Tuesday and Wednesday, you're still in the 80s and the 90s, but it brings colder temperatures only for the upper Midwest. As you go into Thursday, warms right back up, and you can see how you're staying around the 70s for parts of the Mid-Atlantic for the East Coast. That's because this system is pulling this cold air further to the south. So while everybody else is going to be in warm temperatures, y'all going to stay around the 70s and 80s while everybody's still in the 90s and 100s because of this storm system pulling this cold air further to the south. Even by the 5th, you cooler right here on the East Coast because it's pulling it down, and these 90s are not reaching y'all because of what the GFS sees. So if the Euro is correct, you won't have those cooler temperatures, and it won't block what's in the Gulf. So as we look with the update with the GEM model, the CMC, you see it goes towards a little bit towards Mexico City, goes to a 985, and then it swings to the east, and it stays weak because of the shear. I will show you. It goes into the Gulf just like the Euro is showing, but it goes east after that. It starts moving a little bit more to the east, and that's according to the CMC model. So far it shows no matter what, it will get into the Bay of Campeche, which is not a good thing. You do have winds going all the way around this, so it has good formation, but it's getting a lot of shear, so it's not keeping a lot of precipitation around the center. But so far it's moving east according to this model. And the Euro confirms that it will get down to 980 before it goes into Mexico. Then it goes into the Bay of Campeche, and it continues to move to the middle of the Gulf. A little more of a northward push than an eastward push. So there is difference between the different weather models. You can see the barbs going all the way around. It has good formation. Precipitation is on the east side because it's getting a lot of shear, so it's not able to stay strong. So as you look with the Euro with the precipitation, you see as it meets up, it goes a little bit further to the west with the system. But then when it gets into the Gulf, our cold front just passed by, and then it goes into the Bay of Campeche, starts grouping up, and starts heading towards the center, the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. At the same time, you can see all the precipitation is east side loaded, so will be the winds because it's getting this shear still, but still it stays bullish and moves right into the Gulf. And when you look at the SpaghettiOs from the Euro, it confirms that it does go into the Gulf, and the majority of them shows that it will stay towards a northward push into the Gulf of Mexico, not a eastward push. Most of them are headed north. Even when you look chances for a tropical depression with the Euro, you can see as it goes to Mexico that it heads to the Bay of Campeche, stays strong until it gets to the 3rd. Then it starts weakening down, but it stretches out to the east, northeast through the Gulf of Mexico. Even when you check for a tropical storm, it don't show a strong chance, but you can see the track of it. It pushes east, northeast after it goes through the Bay of Campeche and starts going to the northeast. But you can see also when you check and see what's going on with the precipitation and the cold front. The cold front passes through as it goes through Mexico. Then when it gets to the Bay of Campeche, there is no cold front there stopping this storm from forming. It's just starting to come down. It's very high up. So you can see there is no dry air stopping this from doing any kind of more strength. There will be shear, but there won't be the dry air there according to the Euro. And the worrisome part with the GFS, when you look at the cyclone locations, it confirms that it will head possibly into the Gulf of Mexico. But you see it starts doing sharp curves because it gets hit with the cold front. So I don't know whether it heads a little northern, whether it heads into the western side of the Caribbean, or whether it stays weak and maybe strengthens up at the last minute. It's still all over the place because with this cold air, it's going to just spread out the vorticity of this storm, and it just really can't form. And it's just going to be a lot of storms everywhere. Matter of fact, the GFS shows the strongest that it could get down all the way down to a 939 major hurricane going towards Mexico, but weakening down. All of them shows it will weaken down right before landfall. But at the same time, when it gets into the Bay of Campeche, you can see that the cold front does mess with it and it moves to the western Gulf of Mexico. Still don't have much precipitation around it. Still east side loaded while this storm is going counterclockwise, pulling this cold air down, keeping it blocked. Then it heads to the east, northeast. This could bring winds and possibly some heavy rainfall, possible weak tropical storm, strong tropical depression towards the eastern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, as it goes off into the Atlantic and goes away. And as you look at the precipitation so far, you can see that it does bring a lot of precipitation, a very nasty looking major hurricane over here going towards Mexico. Weakens down before it hits, and then it gets into the Bay of Campeche. But when it gets hit with this cold front, when it circles all this dry air down, which is a big high pressure, it will block it. It does a big block across the Gulf. That's why it goes to the east with it, and it starts going to the east, northeast with everything. So you can see if it does go that way, that no precipitation will come towards Florida or the Keys. It will all go into the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos with the precipitation and the rainfall with it. So far that does a block for everything, for the winds, the precipitation, everything. And you can see this here, right when the system goes across our country, it pulls this cold front down. It goes counterclockwise, so it's pulling all this cold air down from the north. Does a little block in the Gulf, but then when the Euro says that block is gone, it heads into the Bay of Campeche for the Gulf. GFS has it over here going a little further south, where it pulls this cold air down again and just blocks anything from coming into the Gulf as it goes to the east, northeast. And when you look and see at your 500 millibar geopotential height, you can see the system moving as it stays strong and then weakens down as it goes towards northeast. At the same time, when it comes back, it brings all this high pressure, all this cold air down, does its block, but it strengthens up a little bit more as it goes towards the edge of Florida before that part actually leaves. So that's a little concerning in itself, but it does show that that does pull off and strengthen off later after that. So here's your shot so you can see it as it goes towards Mexico. Dry air comes in right there with that cold front as it goes into the Bay of Campeche. Dry air gets spurt back down from this cyclone, spinning counterclockwise, pulling all this down, blocking the Gulf, pushing everything to the east, northeast. But once again, I'm still showing we have good news if the Euro is correct, because as you see with the GFS, when this goes into the Bay of Campeche, that it will have all this shear hitting on it. And most of the shear stays because of the cold front creating that big trough, and it moves it to the east, northeast, and the whole time it will stay sheared up very strong as it goes across the Caribbean, as it goes across the Bahamas, strong shear still as it moves away. So if the GFS is correct, it will be getting strong shear the whole time, and there's no way it could form up back into a hurricane. It will be something weak. Even the Euro agrees that after it gets into the Bay of Campeche, that it keeps a lot of shear on this system, even if it don't show that second bounce of that cold front. It still keeps it weak. It still keeps a lot of wind shear against this system to where it would definitely be something weak. Now remember, the best information, the most accurate is the 12Z and the 0Z because the weather balloons when they put up. But here's the 6Z so you can see the consistency with the GFS. Still confirms that very strong hurricane down to a 936 going towards Mexico, weakening down a little bit before it hits. Gets into the Bay of Campeche, still gets pushed to the east to the Western Caribbean because of this system on the east coast. And it still goes over the Bahamas, strengthening up as it pulls away. So that is still the same track. It has been consistent so far for these last two runs. And the 0Z is accurate because of the weather balloons, and the 6Z is confirming the same thing. Just remember, the most likely outcome showed that it could go over Florida a little bit. This could tighten up a little bit, go more of a high ridge, and instead of going on this path, it could go over the Florida path as it leaves. I will keep you updated. But so far, that is the update. That's the information I have for all of you. So God bless all of you. May you stay safe through your storms today as well. I pray everything heals up in Texas, and I pray you do get your power back. Remember, if you haven't been here, just subscribe, because I will keep you updated every single day on what's going on with this hurricane system, because it is looking a little wishy-washy between the Euro and the GFS. It all depends on that cold front, how long it stays. Colossians 3. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God. When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Mortify, therefore, your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, which means lust, strong sexual desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry. For which things' sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked sometime, when ye lived in them. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all. Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. Servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing God. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men, knowing that the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance. For ye serve the Lord Christ. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons. Amen. Have a great day, guys. God bless every single one of you. God bless all of you going through what you're going through in Texas. I pray for some very quick healing. It sounds like a lot. Remember, all glory, all power, all honor, always goes to Yahweh, God of Jacob, our Father, the one true Almighty. Amen. Hallelujah. God bless you all. Hope you have a very great Wednesday out there.